Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name is Imogen and in today's video I'm teaching you how to completely reinvent yourself. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram and let's get started. So the number one tip I have for you, the first step is to write down your why, okay? Why do you want to completely reinvent yourself? What is wrong with you as you are now, okay? What do you want to change? Why do you want to change it? Like, why do you want to change, okay? So it could be anything. It could be that you're fed up of how people perceive you. You want a fresh start, okay? You might completely have had a bad experience and you want to sort of start a new chapter in your life. So any of those could be a valid reason, a valid why, but anything really is a valid reason to reinvent yourself. So just write it down, because when you write it down, it's going to be a really good reminder and it's going to stick in your head. So write down your why. Okay. Create the vision of your future self. All right? So I want you to ask yourself these questions and write down the answers to them. Number one, what does your future self look like and what's their aesthetic? Okay, so you can use a Pinterest board for this, you can use drawings, you can verbally describe it or write it down, but what do they look like and what's their aesthetic? Number two, where do they live? Okay, where does your ideal self live? Where does your future self live? Right, number three, what does their daily routine look like? I want you to map out the ideal daily routine that your reinvented self would have. So when do they get up? When do they have lunch? What do they do with their day? Okay, map out their daily routine. Right, what kind of friendships and relationships do they have? Okay, so if you're, one common reason for wanting to reinvent yourself is that you're in a toxic friend group and you just want to get out of it and have a fresh start, okay? So what kind of friendships and relationships do you aspire to? And this might be romantic relationships, it might be working relationships, okay? What kind of social relationships do you want to have? And describe these in as much detail as you possibly can. Journal about your dream friend group, journal about your dream partner, journal about your dream colleagues, okay? What kind of social relationships would make you feel nourished and would make you thrive? And I want you to be as detailed as you possibly can, because this is really, really important when it comes to creating the vision of your future self. Right, next, what does your future self and your reinvented self do for work or study? Okay, so what job do they have? What university course do they do? Okay, how do they spend their days? What's their main mission? If you don't already have a clear answer to that, then you might want to try out some virtual scenarios in your head and think, oh, what if they did this? What if they did that? Okay, so think about multiple possibilities, but ultimately I want you to come together on sort of one main mission for your reinvented self. Okay, also write down what hobbies do they have. So what does your reinvented self, what do they do in their spare time? So do they exercise? Do they hang out with their friends? Okay, do they have a really, really specific and niche hobby that nobody else has or that you really like right now but you don't actually have the bravery to start? Okay, so what do they do in their spare time? And one thing that I want you to bear in mind throughout this process is that your reinvented self is completely authentic. They're completely true to themselves, and they don't actually care what anyone else thinks about them. So they're going to be completely open about what they like, and they're just going to pursue their goals wholeheartedly. Okay, so what hobbies do they have? And finally, this one's so important, and that's why I left it till last, because I really wanted to emphasize this point. What big goals and dreams do they have? So what is the sort of ultimate purpose of your future reinvented self? What dreams does this person have? What do they want to do? Where do they want to go in life? Okay, what's their ultimate vision for who they want to be? What's your vision's vision, if that makes sense? Okay, so what's their sort of ultimate dream? Now I want you to make this as big as possible, okay? I want you to be ambitious with this. This is literally a dream, okay? So I really want you to think big here. Okay, so now you've created the vision of your future self, we are on to the next stage, and that is to create a timeline. Okay, when is your transformation going to be complete? So it's all very well to create a vision as long as you, if you don't ever put it into practice, then how do you ever think that's going to work? Okay, so I tend to think that a transformation can either occur in 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Now you can, if it's really big, you might try 2 years or 5 years, but 3 months, 6 months, or a year can be really good for a sort of a refresh of yourself. So pick one of those periods, I would suggest, and then make monthly or weekly milestones. Also, I recommend that you use the SMART framework, so that's making your goals specific, measurable, achievable, time-bound, and relevant. I've done a whole video on that, so go check it out. But make SMART goals so you can track your progress, because if you can't track your progress, then you're not going to know how far along you are, and that's going to cause problems, okay? So Then I want you to break each goal down into manageable steps so you know exactly what you need to do, okay? So timeline, milestones, manageable, easy steps, okay? Break them down until it's so small that it's like ridiculous not to start. Right, once you've created a vision and you've created a timeline, the next thing that I want you to do is completely change your look, okay? This is the fun bit, okay? You can change your hairstyle dramatically. Like, for example, I used to have, like, quite long, dark brown hair. Like, you can see my hair is actually dark brown, but when I was at the start of second year, I cut it, like, really short, and I bleached it, I dyed it blonde. It was actually, like, orange to begin with, like it was red orange, and then I just went blonde, and I've been blonde ever since, and it's honestly like the best thing. Like, I feel so much more like myself now that I've cut my hair and dyed it blonde than I did with like my natural hair. And that seems like weird to say, but honestly it completely like gave me a fresh start and it made me really confident. So do not underestimate the impact of a hairstyle change. Also, get new clothes and ditch any old ones that don't fit your vibe. I did this, it really helps me, and it really helped me sort of step into the person I was becoming. Also, take care of your skin. Like, better skincare can really help. Like, any kind of sort of like self-care thing that you do to yourself. Now, I'm not going to comment on cosmetic surgery here, that's not my place. Like, if someone wants to get like cosmetic surgery for themselves, then that's fine. I will say that I am in the process of getting like laser hair removal on my underarms, and that is something I personally like have done for my comfort rather than aesthetic reasons. But you know, if someone wants to get like some kind of more invasive procedure done, that's like not for me to say. If you're doing it for yourself, then good. If it's safe, good. Otherwise, like, I have no comment on that, okay? So completely change your look, but don't go too extreme with it. Like, start with smaller changes, and then as you feel that this is positive, ramp it up, okay? And the next thing that I want you to do is to get started on the big changes, okay? The big stuff like moving house or changing your friend groups can really take time. So I want you to get started early, because if you're in this sort of like 3 month, 6 month or year-long period, then chances are that a significant chunk of that time is going to be needed in order to make the big changes. So I want you to get started on the big changes very early. And again, you should have broken them down into manageable steps at an earlier point in this process, like I described. So you should be able to know exactly what you need to do to start. Right, the next thing I want you to do, and this is super important because you can make all the external changes you like, but you're not going to feel like a different person unless you reinvent your attitude, okay? So take some time for self-reflection. What limiting beliefs do you have? What is stopping you from change? What is like blocking you from change? What's your mental obstacle? Number 2, I want you to adopt a growth mindset, okay? The whole point of like changing and reinventing yourself is that you are growing. So you need a growth mindset. You need to believe in yourself that it is possible. Right, number 3, you need to practice getting out of your comfort zone. This change is going to involve some discomfort, and you need to get out of your comfort zone. Also, practice being more ambitious, right? Increase the size of your goals. I've touched on this earlier, but increase the size of your goals. Like, you need to have really big goals. And be honest with yourself about where you need to improve, okay? The areas of your life that you need to improve are areas for growth and the areas for learning, okay? So don't shy away from it. Right, the next section that I have for you is to learn constantly, okay? You need to be learning all the time during this reinventing process. You can do a course, challenge yourself to read more, or get a qualification you've been meaning to get. Either way, becoming smarter and better educated and learning more is going to really help you become this new person. Right, the next tip that I have for you is financial, okay? So get a specific amount in savings and build your emergency fund. Like, get a side hustle if you need to. Like, one of the biggest changes in my self-transformation journey was financial independence, okay? So I had a job and it enabled me to save up a lot of money, and now I still have a side hustle. So like, really getting my finances in order, and you getting your finances in order is really going to contribute to you becoming a better person. And I don't care if you start really small. Like, even the learning is possibly the most valuable part of this process, okay? Because the more you learn, the better habits you're going to have in the future. Right, after you've done all of that, the next stage is to stay consistent, okay? So you've started off on this growth journey, you've got the vision, you've reinvented your attitude, now you've just got to put in the work, okay? So set reminders, have visual reminders of your timeline, so maybe a vision board. My vision board is my like background on my laptop, so I see it literally every time I go to work, okay? You've got to keep your schedule up to date, and you've got to reward yourself along the way to stay motivated. This is where you put the groundwork in. This is boring, it's repetitive, okay? You need to just keep going at it until you get there. And then congratulations, you have completely reinvented yourself and become a new person. Now what, okay? So after your transformation, some people may comment on how much you've changed. I got a lot of comments on like, oh, you're unrecognizable, or you've changed a lot, and you know, I didn't recognize you. Like, I'd go out and, you know, like, people who were, like, friends didn't, like, from the family didn't, like, recognize me. This is when I changed my style, back when I was, like, in my late teens. I completely revamped my style, and I just walked past on the street, and they just wouldn't recognize me, because I looked completely different. So some people may comment on how much you've changed, and this means that you have the opportunity to make like a new impression. Okay, use this as an opportunity for a fresh start. Like, you're a completely new person in their minds. You know, like when you're in The Sims and you're like building your sim and you've just got like a sort of a blank character. That's you. Okay, so you can customize it however you want. Also, some people may be jealous, okay? Not everyone has the courage to reinvent themselves. Not everyone is consistent like you, and not everyone sees it through to the end. So this is a great way to find out who your friends are. The right people will be super happy for you, okay? These are the friends you should keep. Everyone else can go. And I know that may seem like super brutal, but if someone's being jealous of you and they're dragging you down, then they got issues. And honestly, that's really, really not your problem. Like, it's not your fault, and you are working on bettering yourself, so you should surround yourself with people who are going to cheer you on. Right, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you have completely reinvented yourself by now. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye!